If your back hurts, you've probably thought, should I get an MRI scan? And it makes sense because it feels logical. Find the problem, fix the problem. But the truth is, most back pain doesn't need an MRI scan. And sometimes it can actually make things worse. Let's get into it. I'm Barney, I'm a physiotherapist, and I've worked with thousands of people in pain. And this is one of the biggest misunderstandings that I regularly see. Let me just say first of all that this is not medical advice, it's purely educational. If you're concerned about your symptoms, please speak to your healthcare provider. Now that's out of the way, let's get into it. Most people don't know that the major health guidelines recommend against routine MRIs for low back pain. And they all basically say the same thing. Don't get a scan unless there's a specific reason to, because in most cases, it doesn't improve outcomes and it doesn't change management. Most people think pain equals injury. So if your back hurts, then there must be a disc problem, something that's out of place, or just something that's wrong. So they think, let's scan it and see. But here's the problem. Back pain just doesn't work that way, unfortunately. If you scan people with no back pain, you'll still see things like disc degeneration, disc bulges, and even disc herniations. And here's the key point. These changes are closely linked to your age, not your pain. For example, around 37% of people in their 20s who have no back pain have disc degeneration on MRI scans. And by your 80s, that increases to around 96% of people with no pain. So what does that tell us? These findings are normal and age-related. Just like wrinkles and grey hair, you age on the inside too. They don't automatically explain why your back hurts. So let's take a guy who's had back pain for a while. So he goes and gets an MRI. The results say disc herniation and disc degeneration. And suddenly he thinks, oh no, my back's injured, I need to be careful. And he's full of fear and anxiety, and now he's worried to move. And all this makes him do is avoid the things he normally does in his life and reduce his confidence in his body. And then what happens to his pain? It only gets worse. But here's the key. These findings were likely there before his pain even started. But now they've been labelled. And so they change the way he sees himself, the way he moves, and they seriously slow down his recovery. And this is why unnecessary scans can be a real problem. All they do is increase fear, reduce movement, and lower confidence in your body. And all of those things are strongly linked to ongoing back pain. So instead of helping, the scan actually becomes the focus and the problem. Another important point is that in most cases, an MRI scan doesn't change what we do, whether it shows a disc bulge, degeneration, or even a herniation. The approach is usually the same thing. Gradual return to movement, building strength, reducing fear, and improving your lifestyle factors. The scan doesn't give you a better plan. It just gives you more labels and more reasons not to do the things that will actually help you. Here's the real key that we always say as physios. You treat the person, not the scan. Two people can have the exact same scan, and one can have terrible back pain and one can have no back pain at all. So the scan clearly isn't the full picture, and this matters way more than people realise. I've seen a young guy, no major issues, got on MRI because he had back pain, and someone told him that he had the spine of a 70-year-old. And what do you think this does to a person? Suddenly, he feels really fragile, like something's seriously wrong with him, like he needs to be careful and protect his back all the time. And so everything gets worse. Less movement, more fear, and more pain. And obviously that's not helpful at all. We should be treating the person, not the scan, and helping people feel more confident in their bodies, not less confident. So when do you need an MRI scan for low back pain? They are important in certain cases, when we suspect that something more serious is going on. Some of the more common red flags include things like significant leg weakness, a loss of bladder and bowel control, numbness around your groin, unexplained weight loss, a history of cancer, fever or infection, a major trauma, or pain that doesn't change with any kind of movement. And these are just some of the common red flags. There's plenty of others too. But overall, these situations are rare and account for less than 1% of all cases of low back pain. But if something does feel off, please speak to your healthcare provider. So if you've got back pain, and you're stuck wondering what to do, but you're not dealing with those red flags, then what you likely need isn't a scan. You just need a clear plan to go forwards. So I've put together a free 9-day plan to help you get started properly. And it walks you through understanding your pain, what to do day to day, and how to build momentum. I've linked it in the description below. So your back probably isn't broken, you just need the right approach.